Mr. Wilson, as leader of the Labour Party, would you try to reinforce the special relationship between Britain and the United States? Mr. Wilson, as leader of the Labour Party, would you try to reinforce the special relationship between Britain and the United States? Mr. Wilson, as leader of the Labour Party, would you try to reinforce the special relationship between Britain and the United States?
We would hope and expect to have very close relations with the United States, though I don't think anyone now is talking of an exclusive relationship. We would hope to have, and I'm sure this is American thinking too, a relationship which would enable all of us, our European friends as well, and Canada, to build up the concept of the Atlantic community. Within that, I think we should both be working for the same thing. Then it is a fact, it just happens to be a fact, that on so many big issues of the day, the Labour Party has been taking a position much closer to the American administration line than the present Conservative government. For example, on defense questions, for example, on United Nations questions and the problem in Africa, Congo, Katanga. And I think because our thinking is closer to theirs than the present government, we should expect to have a happy relationship.
Would you do something specially to develop this relationship? You've described how it exists.
Well, Hugh Gaitskell, when he was leader of the party, of course, had a very, very special interest in Anglo-American relations, and I would want to consider to continue that. I was actually in the United States just on my way to Washington when I heard the tragic news of Hugh Gaitskell's death. I had to come back. I would naturally want to go over there and make my contact in Washington again as quickly as possible.
How do you think British defenses should fit into the Western system, both nuclear and conventional?
We are quite clear about this.
Could I ask that again, because you jumped in on me? How do you believe British defenses should fit into the Western system, both nuclear and conventional?
We are quite clear about this. We believe that it doesn't make sense for Britain to try and have any nuclear role in the Western alliance. We believe that if we try to, it will divert our resources from the more important task, from the point of view of the West as a whole, of strengthening our conventional contribution to NATO. As a party, we are certainly not neutralists. We believe very strongly in playing our full part in NATO, a fuller part indeed than the present government are playing at the present time. If we divert our energies into the nuclear role where we can't make any significant contribution to Western nuclear strength, it prevents us from doing what we should be doing in NATO.
What would your attitude be towards the United States maintaining nuclear services or bases here as required?
Well, already, of course, many of the American nuclear bases are being removed. And as nuclear technology extends, that will be more and more the position. But our role is, as loyal members of NATO, we will do whatever is required under NATO to make Western defenses effective.
What should Britain do about the independent French deterrent?
Well, we have
What do you think Britain could actually do to discourage?
I was dealing with it in the House of Commons a few days ago in the big debate on the post-Brussels.
Would you skipping the few days ago, just give me a straight.
Yeah, well, actually, it doesn't happen until tomorrow.
No, I know, but
yeah, all right.
We still want to use it next month.
I see. All right. Well, we've explained our position in the House of Commons. Is that it? On this
That's all right.
Yes.
We've
yes, right.
How do you? What steps should now be taken on the common market? How do you envisage the British-German relationship in reference to the common market and the situation which you foresee?
Well, no different, of course, from Britain's relations with Russia.
You came in with that. How do you envisage the British-German relationship with reference to the common market within the program of the Italians? How do you envisage British-Italian relations with reference to the breakdown of the common market negotiations? And what is your reaction to the Prime Minister's visit to Rome?
I'm very glad he went to Rome. We wanted to establish good relations with Italy, and it was, I think, significant that that was his first visit after the breakdown of the talks. But Of course, we would hope to develop those relations, but not on an exclusive basis. We would want to see Britain working with Italy, with Germany, with the Netherlands, with Belgium, Luxembourg, and ultimately we hope with France, as well as with our EFTA partners, to get the kind of multilateral trading community in the Western world that all of us want to see. I'm sure our Italian friends are as keen as we are to see that established.
Mr. Wilson, what is your most memorable recollection of your parliamentary life?
You know, I think it was when the new House of Commons chamber was opened by King George VI in October 1950. The old chamber had been bombed during the war, and it took some years to rebuild. And when it was reopened, we had the speakers and presidents of assembly from every country in the Commonwealth. And they all came in solemn procession with our own speaker, our own presiding officer, some of them wearing the same kind of robes, the wig and the gown that he wears, others wearing colourful African costumes. And I think to feel, as we could feel, that our own Mother of Parliament, as we call it, had produced such a widespread progeny of parliaments in so many parts of the world, Africa, Asia, the West Indies, Australasia, was one of the most moving things that any parliamentarian could experience.
Thank you.